And we welcome you back here at Pasco-Hernando State College. Dylan Spalding with Robert Lischek here on this sun-splashed Tuesday evening. 5 o'clock start here for the Bobcats. A bit of an unusual start. Usually these games are starting around 6, sometimes even 7 for the Bobcats. A little bit earlier here, so I imagine the guys are going to be pretty happy. Hopefully maybe they'll get out of here a little sooner than they usually have been. But taking a look at the defensive alignment here, beginning from left to right. It's going to be Brandon Durfee out in left field. Out in center field, the stolen base king himself, Mr. Clay Thompson, will be out in center. Out in right field, it's going to be Nick Cucci out in right. In the infield, from third over to first, we have Castillo over at third, Jordan over at short. At second base, it's going to be Bryce Habuda over at second, and at first base, it's going to be Fano Cruz, And behind the plate and doing the catching work tonight is Juan Lopez. The pitcher on the mound here is going to be Logan Waldschmidt. Waldschmidt, 16 appearances on the season, 8 starts up to this point, 3-2 record, a 6.09 ERA. So he hasn't been maybe the strongest up to this point for the season, but obviously you're getting closer to tournament time. You're focusing more on these most recent starts to really get yourself prepared when you head into those 4 days, because that is really... it's winner take all, really, those 4 days, because you're basically playing to keep yourself alive in the tournament. So Waldschmidt's going to try to look to hopefully have a strong start here tonight against a really good offensive lineup here for the Buccaneers.
Yes, absolutely. You know, seeing the pitcher and everything like that, you want to make sure that all your pitchers are adjusted, because you never know what's going to happen. You want to make sure that they are well rested, but as well prepare for any situation. So I think it is good that he's starting tonight, you know, to see against this team and see a tough team and make sure that he can make the proper adjustments when it is time for tournament play.
Anthony Ruoku will step into the box here for the first time on the evening, and we are just about set for baseball here from Newport Richey, Florida. It's going to be Ruoku, Knorr, and Mueller, Sanchez, Fink, Orphy, Guillemetti, Michalus, and Parks. Michalos, I should say. First pitch to Anthony Ruoku is going to be just a bit high, and it's going to be 1-0 to kickstart the ballgame. 5:02 first pitch here from Newport Richey, Florida. The Bobcats rocking with their black alternate uniforms and the white hat with the black rim and the Bobcat head logo on the front. FSW going with their teal alternates with the gray road pants and the purple FSW hats, the FSW script lettering, if you will. It's a pretty clean look for the Bobcats here this evening. Gotta look good, play good. That's what Deion Sanders always used to say back in the day. Pitch called for a ball. 2-1 here to Ruoku. Ruoku on the season hitting .378 on the year, 148 at-bats up to this point, and 51 runs scored. 32 RBIs as well, to the credit. Again, this FSW team, Robert, high batting averages.
Oh,
as
yes.
you see. And there's no shortage of it. Almost everybody in this lineup, outside of 2 players, have over a 300 batting average. The lowest batting average is a .276, with Loke Guillemette on the roster hitting .276 on the year, which still is a solid number.
Oh, yes. It's, you know, this team is very offense heavy, as I said previously, so it was a little strange that they lost really badly last time against College of Central Florida, but, you know, they're trying to get back into their groove and everything like that. Their offense, when they're swinging, has been magnetic, and that's what has led them to win so gratefully this season.
Runner going, or potentially runner going. Heard a runner on there. Steps in here. Brock Knorr to the dish. 384 on the season for Knorr. 37 games, 112 at-bats on the year. 35 runs as well, to his credit. And that ball's chopped over to second. 4, 6, 3. Double play. Nice job there on the double play turn. And just like that, 2 quick outs after the runner was allowed via the walk to kick off the ballgame.
That's exactly what you need to do right there. Those double plays are going to be extremely helpful tonight, especially against a heavy offensive team. The teamwork with these Bobcats right now have been so electric. It's almost like rhythm work. You know, they have a rhythm and they need to have that consistently, especially if the pitcher starts to become wobbly in the middle portions of the game.
Jake Mueller steps into the dish. Foul back behind him. the season, hitting .333, 44 games up to this point for Mueller on the year. Pitch on the way, chopped over to the third base side. That will go foul, and it will now set the count at 1-1. And this first inning is so important for Logan Waldschmidt, Robert, because you want to, again, set the tone. You want to be able to have a nice start to your ball game, and it really gives you confidence as you head into the later innings here.
Exactly. You know, the Bobcats just have to be strong when it comes to their offense and everything like that. They have to make sure that they do not have any costly pitches that gets these Bucks on the base, because every time they've been on base consistently, they've been able to score in the early portions, and the Bobcats cannot just be in this catch-up attitude. They have to stay strong.
Jake Mueller able to pick up a double there on the base hit down the left field line. That was a really kind of a no man's land, if you will, there for the left fielder for the Bobcats, Brandon Durfee. Durfee just really no play he can make on that one at all. So that will put a runner in scoring position here early for the Buccaneers, and that will bring up to the dish now the cleanup hitter, Carlos Sanchez. Sanchez hitting .353 on the season. He's got 6 homers to his credit. That's 4th on the team. Currently, Nick Pereira and Jake Mueller lead the team in homers with 10 apiece for both of the players. 0-2 count quickly here to the catcher, Carlos Sanchez. Waldschmidt trying to get out of a bit of a jam here early in the first. Pitch on the way. Grounded over to the right, or grounded over to the right side, and that will be a fair ball. The throwback into the plate, and they're going to call him out. A great throw from right field by Cucci, able to grab the out and able to avoid and prevent a run. So the Bobcats will head into the bottom of the first, only allowing 1 hit, and relatively we're pretty clean for the most part. We head into the bottom of the first inning here. It's tied 0-0 as you're watching Bobcats baseball here on the PHSC Athletics YouTube page. And we are back as we get you going for the bottom half of the first inning. Let's take a look at Lyndon Coleman's starting lineup here for his Bobcats. Clay Thompson will lead things off as Brandon Durfee will bat second. Fano Cruz will bat third. Lopez batting fourth. Jordan bats fifth. Habuda bats sixth. Cole bats seventh. Cucci bats eighth. And Castillo will bat ninth. On the mound today for the FSW Buccaneers is going to be Burgess on the mound here this afternoon for the Buccaneers. He has had a really solid year for the Buccaneers this season. Burgess so far for the Buccaneers. If I can pull up his numbers here. Not listed actually. He must be so good. Actually, excuse me. Yeah, no, he's not listed on the list. So I guess we don't have any numbers for Burgess, unfortunately. Nevertheless, the Bobcats will see Clay Thompson check in here or come into the game for the Bobcats to lead things off here. Thompson, who, again, has had a very good season, more so on the base pass, obviously, has been kind of the big highlight in the feature so far for Thompson this year with the 49 stolen bases that he's had.
I think it's really more impressive because he's a redshirt freshman. I think that's even more impressive to have that experience or to have that athletic power already as a redshirt freshman coming into this season with this team is just amazing. So he's definitely a player to look out for in this game.
Pitch on the way to Thompson. That one's lined out to left field. That's going to be a base hit. Thompson will round first. He heads towards second. Thompson will get into second on a stand-up double to lead things off here for the Bobcats. Great piece of hitting by Klay Thompson, similarly to what we saw in the top of the first with that double that was hit by Mueller. And just like that, Klay Thompson able to pick up a leadoff double here for the Bobcats. Great way to start things off here for PHSC.
That's exactly what they need to do. They got to have their offense up early. They don't want to be in a catch-up position. You know, if they can cash in this inning, I think this will be a really great momentum booster for the Bobcats.
Braden Durfee will lead things off, or will come in batting second here for the Bobcats. 41 games under his belt this year, 132 ABs, 3 homers, 29 RBIs, and a .311 average for Durfee this year.
He's also a Pasco native. He actually went to Land O'Lakes High School, so, you know, one of the local boys here on this roster.
A roster that actually features a lot of diversity this year for the Bobcats. One thing that we can mention here real quick is how many places that the Bobcats have came from, if you will, this year. It has been it's quite an interesting group of players that the Bobcats have brought over here for 2025. And you got some guys with some D1 experience. You got some guys who have actually played at the D2 level, such as Grant Jordan, who's in the lineup tonight. He played for UT last year, won a national title with the UT Spartans. That ball's chopped over to the third base side, and a tough play for the third baseman, Michalus. And he's going to not be able to pick up a play, so that will be a base hit, an infield single for the Bobcats. And just like that, back-to-back base hits just kickstart the bottom half of the first inning. And a strong start here for the Bobcats as runners are at the corners here with nobody out.
That's exactly, again, what they need to do. And, you know, that's going to be really helpful because now they have Fano Cruz, who's also another great player at the bat naturally. So we're going to see how this goes. But with no outs, runners at the corners, this could be a great opportunity for the Bobcats to cash in some runs and get the lead.
Cruz with 5 homers on the year. That is tied for the most homers on the tied for first for the most homers on the team. Anthony Cole with 5 and Juan Lopez with 5. Again, over the years we've seen kind of a big number for the Bobcats in terms of a home run bat that's really shined on the roster. But this year it's been rather low. Again, we talked about it in the pregame. This has been a team that has relied on their base hits and really rely on their bat-to-ball contact hitting, if you will. Pitch is going to be called for a ball. 3-0 now. Chance to load the bases early with Juan Lopez on deck. Lopez hitting .320 on the season, so definitely a dangerous hitter here coming up behind Cruz. And that's ball 4. So bases will be loaded, and that brings up the one of 3 men who have 5 homers on the year, as we mentioned, Juan Lopez.
Yeah, Juan Lopez is another great player. You know, he's from Venezuela, catcher, 5'11", 233 pounds, bats with his right hand. Again, he can be the person who might be able to cash in a couple runs here for the Bobcats.
Yeah, and you cannot not lose out on this opportunity here if you're the Bobcats. Runners in scoring position and obviously bases loaded. You have to be able to connect on this opportunity here if you're PHSC.
It's a game about momentum. You know, who can cash in on the momentum or who can create momentum for the team, and how do you respond afterwards? You keep on building momentum. That's the question with every type of situation for the Bobcats, especially in these games where it's been so close or it's been offensively explosive. It comes down to early momentum, and if they can continue to build up on it as the game progresses.
Lopez swings on that last pitch, and that'll be the first out here of the bottom of the first inning. That will bring him now to the plate, number 8, Grant Jordan. As we mentioned, Grant Jordan, a part of the team that won the D2 championship last year at the NCAA level with the University of Tampa. What a great program and University of Tampa has built in over the past several years. Obviously, we mentioned winning the national title last year, but they've won several national titles and it became one of the premier baseball programs to go to. If you're a baseball player, people want to go to UT. That is a place to go. 6-4-3, and there it is. That is going to be a double play, and that will wrap up the inning. So with that being said, we'll head into the top half of the second inning. No runs scored as we head into the top half of the second inning here. 1 through from PHSC. Alrighty, and it is the top half of the second inning. The Bobcats, unfortunately, not able to connect on a bases-loaded opportunity at the end of the bottom half of the first inning. Dylan Spalding, Robert Lischek with you on a Tuesday night here from Pasco-Hernando State College. And Robert, not the way you would hope the Bobcats were able to connect on the top half or the bottom half of the second inning there in the home half of the frame, with not being able to grab those runs, as we mentioned. Definitely a disappointing way to wrap up the first inning for the Bobcats offensively.
Yes, exactly. So now you have to rely on your pitching again. And, and depending on the situation, with their pitching, everything like that, their pitching is strong, but you never know what's going to happen. So it's got to be who's going to be the one that's going to take charge, who's going to be the one that's going to lead that push and start to build up some momentum, because, maybe into the second and third inning, something will happen. But if they don't do it soon, then it's going to leave, of course, the Buccaneers an opportunity to build up their own momentum and score immensely.
0-2 count here to Fink. So Waldschmidt trying to grab an early first out here in the top half of the frame. Or Fink fouls that one away, and it will stay at 0-2. Nathan Fink on the year. A dual player that's looking at his defensive stats there. Nathan Fink, 314 on the season, 9 home runs to his credit. He is second on the team in home runs this year. That one's fouled over to the third base side. Play will be made, and just like that, a 5-3 ground out from Castillo over to Cruz, and there is now one away.
That was a really good play right there.
That was
5-3 play. That's exactly what they need to do. It's a thing that they're doing again, rhythm-wise, with all their infielders, and I observed that when they went up against the Lake Hawks recently inside that dugout. They talked about rhythm. They wanted to be in momentum. They wanted to make sure that everything is almost in symmetry exactly. So defense-wise, it's just really, really good right now. They just got to make sure the pitcher can, correct some changes here. They don't want a lot of base hits or hitting opportunities because, again, momentum can change. Anything can happen, and the Bobcats want to be secure.
A 0-1 count to Luke Orphy, or 0-2 count, to Luke Orphy. That ball is hit foul. A little bit of a late call there as That went towards the right side of the field. So it's going to be still 0-2. Went down towards the old bullpen area. Robert, prior to the field having the outfield bullpen out and right, they actually had the bullpen in fair territory, similarly to how it is towards the left field side.
Yes, the rebuilding, restructuring, the construction of this field is really great. It's been going on for several years right now, and of course, it's a great field. It's a great day for baseball. So
Man.
80 degrees outside today. It's a perfect day.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3 call. And just like that, 2 away here in the top half of the second inning. And it's been a nice start here for Logan Waldschmidt on the mound.
That was a really good pitch. I mean, down on that side, that's exactly what he needs to do in order to sustain that strong defense. Great infield work, and then to make sure that the pitcher here just keeps doing what he needs to do in order to secure this out.
Ball's fouled away by Guillemette. Guillemette here on the year hitting .276. As we mentioned, one of 2 players in the lineup today who are hitting under .300. But again, still .276, as we had mentioned. Still a strong number. 16 games up to his credit here so far this season. 29 at-bats and 7 RBIs for the freshman dual threat player, designated hitter today, but also pitches. Listed as a left-handed pitcher for the Buccaneers. Pitch on the way. Down towards the corner in the inside part of the plate there, and it's going to be 1-2. Looking for the payoff pitch here on a 1-2 count. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Logan Waldschmidt. Wraps up the top half of the second inning. We'll head into the bottom half of the second inning here from Newport Richey, Florida. The Bobcats tied here up to this point with the Bucks. It's 0-0 as we head into the home half of the frame. Newport Richey, Florida. The Bobcats back to the dish offensively here. It's going to be Habuda, Cole, and Cucci here coming up. As Bobcats looking to try to get something going offensively. They had a bit of an opportunity in the bottom half of the first inning, but unfortunately weren't able to drive in some runs with the bases loaded situation. So the Bobcats will look for another chance here in the bottom half of the second.
Yeah, it was quite unfortunate, and I thought this was kind of interesting. Since February, the Bobcats in 15 games have scored more than 10 or more runs. So the Bobcats got to do something early, I think. You don't want to play catch-up. It's just more pressure on yourself, and PHSC has the hands to do it. It's more of a when than a how situation.
Yeah, this is a team this weekend that scored 16 runs.
Exactly.
In Palm Beach State. So this is a team that is... Again, no offensive slouch by any means. They can score some runs when they are in sync. Looking to try to hopefully do that here in the second inning. 1-2 count here to the second baseman, Bryce Habuda. Habuda, 42 games to his credit, .333 average, and he will look at a pitch called for a strike. And there is one away. And I'll bring up now the right fielder, Anthony Cole. Anthony Cole, who offensive bats for the Bobcats, a sophomore outfielder playing in the designated hitter spot today. 5 home runs to his credit this year, 36 ribbies, and 41 stolen, or excuse me, 6 stolen bases as well. And that ball's fouled away. Cole played with the Sanford River Rats last summer in the Florida Collegiate Summer League. Got a chance to see him in action during the summer, Robert, and it was impressive to see his power. And I think when you are at the ballpark and you experience guys who just have that pure power, you really can get that. It's impressive to watch.
Oh, absolutely. Again, I was in the dugout for that Lake Hawks game. They had a doubleheader, and just seeing how they were able to structure themselves and in that dugout experience as that ball goes into center field, you know, it's just electric. It's just absolutely electric, and it's a good thing for PHSC to have that and to see that, and then of course observe and correct what they need to do. And right now they have some life here, some momentum. They just need to, you know, keep going at it.
I think we called it there. We timed that up perfectly.
Yeah, it was just.
I'll bring him to the plate now. Nick Kikuchi. Kikuchi on the year, 21 games played. Hitting 154 on the season. He definitely would like to improve that prior to the tournament here coming up in a few weeks. Remember, fans, Bobcats will be hosting the FCSAA Division II tournament. The Sun Lakes Conference tournament is coming back here to Newport Richey in a couple weeks, May 1st through May 4th. This is going to be the 4th time that the Bobcats have hosted that tournament since its most recent edition, or I guess inception, if you will, back in 2022. So they've hosted every single tournament since this new format has been introduced back in 22.
And that's got to be really good for PHSC, having that home field advantage for the tournament. I mean, that's got to be very beneficial for them.
Swung on it and missed, 2-2. Unfortunately, the Bobcats have not been able to have much success the last 2 seasons, but they were able to get to the championship back in 2022 in the first year against the Florida State College at Jacksonville Blue Wave, now known as the Manta Rays. That ball's hit out in the right field, and that will drop in for a base hit in shallow right. Cole will head to third. It's going to be close, but he's going to get in safely, and Anthony Cole able to grab an extra bag on the base hit out over to right field. That was a tight one there, Robert. It looked like Cole could have potentially gotten hosed over there at third base, but he able to put the wheels on a little bit there and able to grab an extra base on the base hit.
It's the aggressive base running. It's been part of their formula, and you know, it's just been great to see that when they have a ball out on that center to right field, that portion that's more in, you know, that's where more likely they'll be able to hit from second. And in this instance, they've, you know, been able to hit third right now. So you have an opportunity with runners at the corners here, and almost a repeat scenario trying to get some runs here.
Pitch on the outside part of the plate. It's going to be 1-0 to the number 9 hitter. Going to be Daniel Castillo. Castillo hitting .297 on the year. He has the most at-bats among the team with 165 at-bats this year in 44 games. He does have a triple to his credit, one of 4 players with a triple on the year for the Bobcats. 2-0. Down low. 3-0 now. Here's the count to number 9 hitter Daniel Castillo. So another opportunity here to load the bases for the Bobcats. Last time the Bobcats had the loaded bases situation was in the first inning, and it ended up turning out to be a double play. So Bobcats would like to try to hopefully avoid that and capitalize and grab a couple runs with the potential bases loaded opportunity. 3-1 though the count. Pitch on the way. And that's called for a strike. So how about this? Burgess here on a little bit of a comeback with 2 straight strikes after going down 3-0, and now it's a 3-2 count here to the number 9 hitter, Daniel Castillo.
This next swing is going to be really important to determine the outcome of this inning.
The pitch is going to be fouled away and down towards the left side. There is some action down in the bullpen here for the Buccaneers. Hard to tell who it actually is from our vantage point here. We'll try to begin to name a number here in a few. Parker Burgess' pitch. And up high, ball 4. So bases will be loaded for the Bobcats after Parker Burgess came back from being down 3-0 on the mound. Now an opportunity has arisen for the Bobcats here. And there is going to be a very quick mound visit with Parker Burgess and the coaching staff here. This is pitching coach, I believe, Colin Smith, coming out to the mound. Coaches on the roster for the Buccaneers. Zach Cole, the head baseball coach in his second season with the club. Obviously, Lyndon Coleman in his 7th season with the ball club this year. And both guys have really done a solid job. Cole is trying to continue to elevate this FSW program that has already seen a lot of success. And for the Bobcats, it's been a program that Lyndon Coleman has brought into new heights. And now the athletic director of Pasco-Hernando State College, taking over for longtime athletic director Steve Winterling, and actually a mentor of Lyndon Coleman's at that as well. It's pretty incredible to see what Lyndon Coleman and how important he has been to the fabric of Pasco-Hernando State College athletics. So 1-0 count here to Clay Thompson. Very dangerous hitter at the plate for the Bobcats here, but also a dangerous man on the base pass, as we had mentioned. But hitting .353 on the season, that's second among the team. So this is somebody who is a very big threat here offensively for PHSC and can really open up the floodgates, if you will, here offensively. Check swing, called for a strike, 2-0 for Thompson. How do you battle this pressure, Robert, if you were Thompson here at the plate?
You know, it's just trying to figure out his pattern. Obviously, I was talking to Lyndon Coleman, observing that game I was at, with the Lakehawks again, and it was just, determining the speed. How can you go and just find that open opportunity? And it's all about the pressure. How do you sustain it? How do you get away from you? And again, this is a momentous opportunity. You have to keep on building momentum.
Thompson will strike out there at the top of the second. And here at the top of the second, and Durfee will now be up to the dish here with 2 outs. So Robert, the pressure, maybe get into the Bobcats here a little bit offensively here, but Durfee has an opportunity to try and potentially break open the seal here in terms of the run column for the Bobcats.
The Bobcats are great at building momentum and energy. It's just how do you implement that at the right time? How each player responds to the challenges by their opponents. And, with this team and seeing how they have done it in other similar situations, the support is unmatched. It's just how do you implement that? How does the player implement that at the right time? And, when you have to see the positive and can't be stuck on neutral.
Well, that was right back to Burgess. So another bases loaded situation gone by the wayside for the Bobcats. We'll head into the top half of the third here, and we will still have a 0-0 tie as we head into the top half of the frame, almost a third of the way through here from Newport Richie. back here in Newport Richey, Florida, as the Bobcats and the Buccaneers are tied here at this point, 0-0. Still no score here as we head into the top half of the frame. It's going to be Michelus, Parks, and Ruoku back up to the dish. So it's going to be 8, 9, and 1 due up here for the Buccaneers. That ball is grounded right over too short. Thrown over to first quickly in time. One pitch, one out already here in the top half of the third.
I mean, again, what a great play. Jordan to then Cruz. It's again that rhythm type of play that they need. A quick out, that's what they need. For pitchers and the defense, they want it to be as quick as possible. For the offense, they want it as long as possible.
Yep.
So this is a great first out for the Bobcats, as right now it's still a standstill, 0-0.
The center fielder, the number 9 hitter for the Buccaneers. So far in the season, hitting .404. He has been a big bat for this Buccaneers raw offense. 3 homers to his credit as well on the season, 28 RBIs.
And just seeing the first pitch that he swung on, that was up high and in foul territory. So imagine what he could do if there was a faulty pitch by PHSC. Hopefully they don't want to do that, obviously, but again, this is about this offense versus offense type of prospect between these two teams.
Pop up in the air and caught over at second base, actually more in front of second base. Nevertheless, it will be 2 away quickly here in the third. So 2 quick outs as we head back to the top of the order, as it's going to be the second baseman. This is going to be Anthony Ruoku up to the dish. He walked back in the first inning. Later was caught up in a double play situation that would end up grabbing 2 outs quickly in the top half of the first inning. Bobcats looking to try to get out of this inning quickly. Another 1-2-3 inning here for Logan Walshman. The 0-1 for Walshman. What a pitch by Walshman.
Oh, yes. Just straight down the middle. Just great pitch right there. I think he's finding his own here, finding that rhythm and being very comfortable right now. And, of course, the infield helping with that strong defense.
Nice pitch there again by Walshman. 0-2, just on the outer part of the plate there. But he is really threading the needle in terms of really finding a good spot for his pitches. He's so far looked really, he's had his cadence down pat up to this point. And that ball is fouled away over towards the left side behind the dugout area for the Buccaneers, and it will stay at 1-2.
Another thing I noticed with this Bobcats team is the sense of urgency, in some of these situations when it is, popped up or up high, or there is a ball out to the outfield. They are almost all synchronized in their actions, and that's a really good thing for this type of team, to have an all collective sense of urgency and be on the same page when it comes to these very difficult plays.
Grounded over to third. 5-3, able to make the play, and just like that, another 1-2-3 inning. Strong performance here for the Bobcats in the top half of the third. We head into the bottom half of the third inning here from Newport Richey, Florida. It's going to be still tied at 0 apiece as we head into the home half of the frame. Well, we are back here in Newport Richey, Florida, going into the bottom half of the third inning, and we wanted to do kind of something special here on April 15th because for fans who are big baseball fans and for people who are just within and know the history of society and how important this day is, it's Jackie Robinson Day, Robert. And obviously, us as baseball fans, we know how important Jackie Robinson was as a baseball player, but he was more than that. He was an activist. He was somebody who was always really trying to be an inspiration for others. And obviously today was the day he broke the color barrier. He made the start for the Brooklyn Dodgers back in 1947, and everybody in the major leagues get to wear his number today, the number 42. And it's just a special day because you look back of how important he was to the game of baseball, and you see all the diversity that there is now in the game. It's cool to see where the game of baseball is, and even where society is, with the contributions and the help that Jackie Robinson made on society. It's impressive to see.
It is, and Jackie Robinson was able to break the racial barrier and have a game where everyone can play baseball, and I think that's the real beauty of it. We have to thank him and a variety of other people who have contributed to make sure that everyone has an equal and fair right to play baseball. So it's a great day.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's always a special thing too when you're at those major league games, even in a minor league game, they'll honor him as well. But you go to the major league games, you see everybody wear the number 42 on the back of their jersey. You see it in the Dodger blue and the Dodger 42 font. It's special when you get to see that history on display, and you see them recognizing him in a way that's so special and in a really positive manner. It's cool to still see his legacy carried on for years over the past several years, and it's really awesome to see. So again, thank you, Jackie, for all that you've done to the game of baseball and to society, and your life and legacy will live on forever. As we go into here the bottom half of the third inning, it's 0-1 quickly here in the bottom half of the third, and now it's 0-2 quickly here to Fano Cruz.
Yeah, Fano Cruz, of course, first baseman, 6'2", bats and throws with his left hand. He's from a Florida native.
Yeah, that's outside 1-2. Yeah, the one thing, Robert, about this level and about the D2 level is the fact that you have to recruit more in-state at the JUCO level, and obviously with the Bobcats, and Bob Beta's told me this in the past, that obviously with the Bobcats and such not having housing and such for the players and not having like on-campus living and such, it's a little bit, there's some rules and such and some differences in terms of the Division II level and the Division I level in terms of the way recruiting is. But the way Lyndon Coleman has recruited this team and bringing in some really top-notch players from around the state and guys who have played at the D1 level, as I mentioned, he has done such an incredible job to build such a diverse and also strong roster here in 2025.
Yes, it's a great roster, obviously, and I think the help of course, Lyndon Coleman and as well the coaching staff, Dustin Snyder, Doug Young, Larry Beats, Derek Kay, and Brandon Lindman, all of those people, along with the players themselves, it's a fantastic roster that's both in-state and international. I think it's just a really fantastic thing to see in this program, and I think that's why as well they're so successful as a college with baseball inside as a main part of their institution, their identity.
Yeah, I mean, just talking about how successful baseball has been over the last several years, multiple conference championships. They got to the World Series in 2019 under Coleman's efforts, as that's going to be flipped over to first for a 1-3 ground out, and there's now 2 away. I mean, just looking at all the accolades that this team has had, all the draft picks that have came out of this program, especially under Lyndon Coleman's watch. 3 draft picks are playing in pro baseball this year with Che Yeager, Jackson Ross, and Davian Garcia. All 3 of them are in major league organizations, and you have multiple players who are playing at the D1 level. Chris Arroyo with Virginia, currently doing great work with the Virginia Cavaliers in the ACC at college ball and D1. It's incredible to see what Lyndon Coleman has done in terms of building a culture with this program and getting guys to that next level while also still continuing to have great success at this level.
It's just part of the leadership that's been instilled with PHSC.
And that ball's caught out in the right field, and we'll continue this conversation.
Yes.
Heading into the bottom half of top half of the fourth inning. So we head into the top half of the frame. We're almost halfway through here from Newport Richey, Florida. Still tied at 0-0 here from Bobcat Country. And we return back here to Newport Richey, Florida, top half of the fourth inning. As Bobcats currently tied with the Buccaneers, still 0-0 in the run column. 6 hits total up to this point. It really has been a surprising start to this game. Not a big offensive performance here from both squads. Bobcats did have 2 bases loaded opportunities, but so far it has really been a quiet game offensively for both the Bucs and the Bobcats.
You know, that's kind of surprising, but at the same time, you never know what's going to happen in baseball. Maybe it's a slow start. Maybe this is just how it's going to be for the rest of the game. Or maybe something will spark in the middle portion of this game. It's just who's going to strike first and who's going to sustain that momentum. Again, it's a game of momentum. Who's going to go out first and do what they need to do to get it done. And, of course, the Bobcats have had good opportunities with even the bases loaded. It's just the execution, which is just very needed in this time.
Outside, 1-2 the count now here to Brock Knorr. Knorr grounded out into a double play back in the first inning. Gonna look to try to get on base here for the first time in the fourth inning here in this ball game, and that one's fouled away. So still stays at 1-2. 1-2 from Walshman. Grounded over to third. 5-3, and it feels like we've seen that a lot over these last couple of innings. The third 5-3 ground out so far tonight, and there's one away.
And any way you can get it out, get it out. It's just as easy as that. Again, they want it to be as short as possible for the defense, and the infield has been great. They have limited those offensive opportunities by the Buccaneers. They need to keep on doing that and then let the offense get some momentum and get some big bats in the later portions of the innings.
So one away here in the top half of the frame. First pitch called a strike to Jake Mueller. Mueller did get on with a double back in the first inning. At home on a potential scoring chance for the Buccaneers. That was from a Sanchez catch, the catcher Sanchez, his single that he hit out to right field and was hosed out at the plate by Cucci. And that ball's grounded to right field, and another base hit for Jake Mueller. So double and a single to his credit here up to this point on the night. 2 for 2 to start out tonight's ball game, and that will bring up to the plate now the catcher Sanchez.
Yeah, just on the right side, just zipped past the Bobcats here. So now you have one person on base. You have Mueller on base, and now you have Sanchez. I believe that's up right now. So again, it's going to be that defense. They got to lock in and see what they can do here to limit this offensive prowess.
First base hit for the Buccaneers since the first inning, since the Carlos Sanchez single that happened back in the first. That was the base hit that was hit out the right, as we were mentioning, and would end up actually grabbing the out at the plate to get Jake Mueller at the dish. So Buccaneers have been quiet since then. The 2-0. Chopped over to the left side. 5-4. Actually, you're going to say he got off the bag.
Wow.
So no play. Actually, I believe maybe the ball went past the second baseman there. That was Habuda at second, who was trying to make the play, at least get the fielder's choice. But unfortunately, no play to be made. So still one out here with runners at first and second.
Yeah, just, Castillo to Habuda, but I think the ball, as you said beforehand, went past him, or he just didn't get in time. So now, again, pressure is on right now for the pitcher and for the infield.
Grounded over to third. 5, 4, 3. Double play. Another double play. And how about it? What a job by the third baseman, Castillo. And just like that, that wraps up the top half of the fourth. So we head into the bottom half of the fourth inning. Bobcats hold the Buccaneers as they'll get a chance to hit here in the bottom half of the frame. We're halfway home here from Newport Richey. And we're back here in Newport Richey, Florida. Dylan Spalding, Robert Lischek with you. And Robert, pretty solid way to wrap up the top half of the frame for the Bobcats defensively. After allowing 2 base hits, Bobcats are able to get out of a bit of a jam. But we head into the bottom half of the frame with the bottom part of the order here due up. Habuda, Cole, Cucci due up here for the Bobcats. Pretty strong part of the order at that for the Bobcats as well, with some guys who have some pop in their bat. But I wanted to get back here real quick to a conversation we were having again about this roster and the structure, the way team has been built. Again, you have so many guys on this team, Robert, who have experience at D1 level programs, have been around different cultures and been around different formulas of the way a team is built and constructed and the way they play. And it's interesting to see the players who have came in this year for 2025 and who Lyndon Coleman has on this roster for this year.
It's no matter where they are, what the players are, where they come from, it's about how you want to integrate the teachings, the methods that you have with their type of offense. And I think they've done that so well with this Bobcats roster. And I think that's going to be a really pivotal part when it comes to these type of games right now, where it's kind of stuck in neutral. It's how do you suffice some offense? How do you get some strong defense? And how Lyndon Coleman and the coaching staff have done it is through this level of positivity, but as well a level of firmness in terms of the authority and everything like that. It's just a greatly structured team. It's one of the best structured teams I've ever talked about or been part of in terms of analyzing and looking at these teams on the collegiate level, So again, the Bobcats are really, really strong. It's just now, at this very moment, they got to get something on, and I think they can do that with the leadership and the expertise that Lyndon Coleman and the coaching staff have.
Grounded up the middle. That's going to be a base hit for Bryce Habuda. And just like that, a single out to center field gives the Bobcats a lead-off base hit to open up the bottom half of the fourth, and that will bring up the ever-dangerous Anthony Cole.
Yes, Anthony Cole, the designated hitter for this team. I mean, again, that was a really great shot past the pitcher for Hobuda. And, maybe they can get something going on here right now for this Bobcats offense that's really have had some answers, but they have not completed the formula, as I should say.
Anthony Cole, the 6'5" righty batter out of Orlando, Florida, sophomore from Montverde Academy. And that one's
That's a
out to right
perfect.
field. That's going to be a base hit. And just like that, back-to-back singles to open up the bottom half of the fourth for the Bobcats.
That is exactly what you need to do. Again, is this gonna be a bases loaded situation? Third time's the charm. I don't know, but that's exactly what they need to do. And something I noticed as well when it comes to their batting, they're really hitting to the center and right side of the field, and I think that as well, that's given them enough time. If they want to gun for third, that's given them enough time to hit it. But right now, you have a good opportunity here. 2 men aboard, obviously, and next you have a really good hitter coming up.
So Cucci will be at the dish here. And grounded foul. So it's an 0-2 count here to Cucci, and a bunt potentially there, but it will be 1-2. He pulls away, so still stays alive in the count here. Runners at first and second here with nobody out for the Bobcats. Chance to try to score the first run of the ball game. 6 hits for the Bobcats up to this point. Pulls away again and looking for another bunt opportunity, and it will now be 2-2. Interesting that he is putting down for a bunt here on a 2-strike count there, unless he's just trying to play possum, if you will. Two. And the bunt actually works. And a really incredible play. Throw over. Are you kidding me? A triple play. Oh my gosh, a 3-4. I can't even talk about that. A triple play ends the inning. So an opportunity for the Bobcats goes away on a triple play. So that will wrap things up for the fourth. We head into the top half of the fifth. It's tied 0-0. And we are back here in Newport Richey, Florida. as a triple play wraps up the fourth. And only tonight have we seen. I mean, that was a crazy play. We rewatched it back on YouTube real quick to see the play unfold. And Robert, just bad timing more so than anything else, I can say.
I get what he was trying to do with that bunt.
And that ball's hit out into left field. That's a single for Orphy, and the leadoff base hit for the Buccaneers.
I get what he was trying to do, but third time's a charm. I think it's a no-go, and obviously, you get it to first, then you get it to second. It's a triple play, and now the team has to readjust again. It's a deflating play, but can they come back? That's the question. And now you have this other opportunity where you have a man aboard for the Buccaneers, and that's going to be a real motivator. They are pumped up right now after that triple play. They are ready to go and rev their engines.
So, again, it's only been 10 hits total for both teams. Throw over to first, not in time. And the Bobcats have had many opportunities. Even in the last inning, they had an opportunity to bring in a couple runs with no outs. And a triple play completely changes everything in the fourth. I mean, I'll be honest, Robert, I have never seen a triple play ever in my life.
I've never seen one at the collegiate level before, so this is an experience for the both of us right here. What a play by the Buccaneers, but what a devastating just play for the Bobcats. They got to do something quick here. Next time they go up later in the inning, in the bottom of the fifth, they got to do something quick because this game is getting really, really close. It's thinning away for them, and they need to make sure that they can restabilize, reset, and think of a game plan for the end run.
Outside, 1-1. Throw over. Did he get him? He got him. How about it? So the pickoff worked over at first base, and Waldschmidt takes away a runner. So one out here in the fifth inning. What a throw by Waldschmidt over to first. Times it out perfectly to Fano Cruz, and just like that, one away here in the fifth.
That's a good play to respond naturally. I mean, that was a great coordination between the two there. A good pickoff. And you don't really see that a lot, those pickoff attempts just be successful.
Yep.
So to see that, that's a really good sign that they're all focused. They want to get this inning over with, and they want the bats to come out and do something here. So, again, good job with the coordination between the pitcher and, of course, Fano Cruz on that play.
Well, and it's changed, too, a little bit, especially with the limitations that there is now with how many pickoffs you can throw over to first, as that one goes out to left field. So a base hit for Guillemette over out to left, and that will bring up now Michelus to the dish. So after the pickoff play worked to perfection, back to square one, if you will, with a single. However, there is an out, so a positive here for the Bobcats with the out in play, a potential double play opportunity here forthcoming for PHSC. Pitch on the way. Bunt attempt. This might work. Throw over, not in time, or in time, excuse me, not in time for the base runner, Michelus. And just like that, a 1-3 ground out on the bunt attempt. 2 away now here in the fifth.
You get the pick off, and now you get that out, so that's really good for them. But you still have a runner that advances to second. Getting a good scoring opportunity for the Buccaneers if they can get something out in the field. Bad news for the Bobcats if that happens. So again, strong infield work is needed here to close out this inning.
2 away, pitch on the way, and that's outside, and it's going to be 0-1, or 1-0. 11 hits total between both teams here through 5 innings. And that's outside, 2-0 now. If you're Waldschmidt here, Robert, you have the runner at second. This has been really the first true test, I would say, in a couple innings for the Bobcats here in terms of a chance for the Buccaneers to score. What's your approach here mentally on the mound if you're Waldschmidt?
I think about that. You just have to make sure that, one, that your pitches are coordinating where you're going. There's a couple times that I've seen in this game where the pitch is I think he was trying to aim towards maybe the bottom portion of the zone, but then it goes maybe towards straight in the middle. And when you have those type of issues, that's going to lead to an opportunity, out in the center field, which is exactly what they don't want. A lot of the pitches that are being thrown are either getting hit on the left side of the field or going straight towards the center. So again, for the pitcher, he's just got to readjust. He's got to not think about it as much as he should. He's got to just make sure that pressure does not deviate from his game. I think that's the best way I can say it. Make sure the pressure does not deviate from your game. You can do this. Obviously, you have the infield capabilities for an out. You just got to see it. You got to take it pitch by pitch.
Fouled away again. 2-2 count here to the number 9 hitter, Parks here. One of the number 9 hitter, but one of the best hitters in the lineup. Hitting .404 on the season here for the Buccaneers. 2-2. Outside, 3-2.
So now you have a full count.
Yeah, you just cannot really affect these runners getting on base. Obviously, you don't want it to be a bases loaded situation, but you just can't worry about the runner over at second, given that it is a 2-out situation here.
Yeah, you just got to focus on the player in front of you.
That ball's hit foul towards the right side. 3-2 the count. 2 outs. Top 5. Waldschmidt trying to get out of a bit of a jam here. Buccaneers looking to grab the first hit of the ball game, or the first run of the ball game here in the fifth. Swung on and missing Logan Waldschmidt. And there's the out.
There we go.
We officially went into the dirt there. We got a little excited on that. But nevertheless, Logan Waldschmidt able to get out of a jam. And we head into the bottom of the fifth here from Newport Richey, Florida. It's still tied 0 apiece. And we are back here to Newport Richey, Florida, as it is the bottom half of the fifth inning here. We got a new pitcher on the mound here for the Buccaneers. This is going to be Cole Greer, a former South Carolina Gamecock, coming on to pitch here for the Buccaneers. Looking at Cole Greer so far on the season and his career stats, a .574 ERA. This is only his 13th appearance on the season. He has started a game to his credit as well for the Buccaneers. So the freshman out of Moncks Corners, South Carolina, going to look to try to get something going for the Bucs on the mound as that ball's hit out in the center field for a base hit. And Daniel Castillo picks up a single to open up the fifth. Welcome to the game, Cole Greer.
Yeah, that's a good hit by Castillo. And, just over the pitcher, just go up inside the center field, and that's a good opportunity here. Early hitting, that means more of opportunity to score. We just have to make sure for the Bobcats end, they have to execute their end plan, which is I'm assuming is to get more runs, make a base-loaded situation like they've done before. They just have to make sure that they execute that end plan and make sure that they don't try to shoot themselves in the foot hypothetically when it comes to these opportunities that are priceless essentially when you're going down at the end of these games.
Throw over to first, not in time. Klay Thompson now to the dish. Thompson with a double and a strikeout. To his credit, he's 1 for 2. Inside again. 2-0. The 2-0 from Greer to Thompson. Going to be called for a strike, 2-1. And that ball is going to be hit for a base hit down in right field. And throw over to third in time. Daniel Castillo gets hosed from right to third. What a throw by the right fielder, Fink. And just like that, one away here in the 5th.
That aggressive base running, it worked last time, but unfortunately not this time. But again, good opportunity, but you still have one man aboard. Again, that being Klay Thompson at first, I believe. So and now you have number 20, Braden Durfee.
Throw into second, and safe at second base on the stolen base. So Klay Thompson doing what he does best. Number 50 on the season for Klay Thompson, and it's a pair of stolen base guys right now, Durfee and Thompson. Thompson obviously on the base pass and Durfee at the plate, but both guys have been stellar on the base pass this season. That's going to be driven up the middle for a base hit. This will score in a run, and Klay Thompson will come in for the first run of the night, and the Bobcats crack open into the run column. It's 1-0 PHSC.
What a play. What an absolutely great play. That's what they needed to do tonight. Obviously, that hit out to that right field, obviously, and then, of course, Klay Thompson making it past second, to third, to home, and now you have number 5, Fano Cruz, who's up. You have another player at first, obviously, Durfee. This could be something. This could be something electric here. It's just really dependent on how this next bat is going to go.
Well, no matter what, you have the 1-0 lead. So if you're the Bobcats, you at least have the lead. You finally break into the run column after multiple opportunities. So I think if you're PHSC, you've got to be pretty happy at least to get the run, but you obviously want to continue to have more and build up that lead, giving yourself a little bit of cushion. Outside, 2-0 now.
You could hear the dugout for the Bobcats just electric. After that, they are pumped up. They are ready to get more runs in.
Absolutely. When you are able to get that first run, it really does amp up the dugout a little bit. It really does bring some life to your team. Able to finally break in, especially for how many times the Bobcats were kind of put down over the last couple of innings with the double play opportunities, a triple play that happened as well. I mean, definitely being able to get that run finally, it's got to be a sigh of relief for the Bobcats, if you will, as that one's fouled away, 2-2.
They're not crawling back; they are clawing back.
Yes.
Bobcats reference there, and that's exactly what they need to do. So again, you got one man aboard. You have Fano Cruz up to bat. I mean, I think this could be a good opportunity. Let's see where this goes.
Swung on and miss, and that will be the second out of the inning. So a strikeout for Fano Cruz, and that will bring up to the dish now Juan Lopez.
Juan Lopez, obviously the catcher for the team. Been really integral for that infield defense, obviously. Freshman, obviously, as well, He throws and bats with his right hand. There's a lot of right-handies on this roster.
Popped up in the air. Out into center field. This is going to be a challenging play, and that will be caught out in center by Parks, and that will wrap up the 5th inning. So that will do it here for the 5th. We head into the top of the 6th inning here from Newport Richey. The Bobcats do tack on a run. It's 1-0 PHSC. And welcome back here to Newport Richey, Florida. Let's take a look here real quick at what's coming up for the Bobcats. They'll take on St. John's River here at home on Friday. We'll actually be broadcasting here on Friday here once again. 4 o'clock first pitch here from Newport Richey, Florida. So come out, support the Bobcats. It should be a really good ranked matchup between the Vikings and the Bobcats, two teams who are really strong in conference play. And then Saturday, the Bobcats on the road in conference play. They'll be taking on the Vikings once more at 2 and at 5 o'clock. So with that being said, we'll pass it over to my fellow broadcast colleague, Mr. Robert Lischek. Robert, take it away. You'll be doing some play-by-play here for the next couple innings.
Yes, I will do some play-by-play for the next couple innings, just for a little bit, obviously, as we get underway. Here comes the next pitch, and that is down low. So I believe right now it is a 1-0 pitch coming up. 2-0. 1-1, excuse me. Yeah, 2-1. 2-1 pitch here for, of course, Logan Walschmidt. He's going up against number 6, Ruocco, the second baseman, as that is driving down. Going to be thrown to first in time, maybe. It will not be. So an attempted play, obviously. A 5-3 play, an attempted play there, but it's not any good. So now you have one man aboard for the Buccaneers here. Ruocco on first as we get to number 10 for the Buccaneers, who's going to be batting. It's number 10, Noer. He's a left fielder for the Buccaneers roster.
Tough play there by Dano Castillo, Robert. He had to recover after making that diving save. Fortunately enough, only allowing a single there, so could have potentially been extra bases that ball would have been out into left field.
And there's a strike for Noer. And right now, 1-0 in the favor of PHSC. Here comes a bunt. It's going to be grabbed to first in time for the first out.
What a play by Castillo there. Great athleticism coming up on that ball. That was a really tough play to make because of how close that bunt was. And looks like Lyndon Coleman might be making the walk out to the mound here.
Potential pitching change maybe, but right now obviously you have number 6, Ruocco, who I believe is, yes, up in second base. And then obviously I think there's going to be maybe some pitching changes here. I think so. I'm going to look and see here. There's some discussion. So he's going to be off for the day for now. So we have a new pitcher involved. We're going to see the number of the pitcher. Obviously, we're going to try to get that info. It's going to be, I believe, I can look it up there. I think it's number 25. I think it's number 25, looking from the view that I have right now. Yes, number 25, Jose Rogue.
Yeah, it's going to be 25 on the mound here, as you mentioned, Robert.
So, Jose Rogue, a freshman from Miami, Florida. Right-hand pitcher, 6'2", 295 pounds. Bats and pitches with his right hand is number 23 for the batting order. For the Bucks is next, number 23, Moeller.
18 appearances on the season as well for Rogue this year, and this is somebody who's just has such a command for his pitches. He's done a solid job this year for the Bobcats.
And that's exactly what you need, obviously. Some strong defensive pitching. They're hoping to keep their lead here, but there is a man aboard at second base. Obviously, number 6, Ruocco for Florida Southwestern, as once again, number 23, Moeller, is up to bat here. First baseman.
Yeah, Mueller has a pair of base hits up to this point, Robert. He's looked like he's really had a strong night so far. His bat, really, the ball just flies off his bat, and he's really been one of the stronger hitters on this roster to keep an eye on, as we kind of talked about coming into this game.
And that was a up high pitch that was way out, so that's going to be a 1-0. Trying to adjust here, Rig. That's also going to be another ball, so that's going to be 2-0.
Yeah, and if you're Rogue here, you just don't want to allow that run to score. This is such a pivotal moment here for the Bobcats. You just don't want to allow this game to be retied. You get that one-run lead.
And that's going to be a wild pitch as Ruocco heads into third.
Now the pressure's on you a little bit here if you're Roeg. You actually may benefit if you allow the runner over at first, though, on a walk, because you then set up a potential double play opportunity to try to get yourself out of the inning with only one out. But you still have to deal with that runner over at third. You just cannot allow a base hit here. You really cannot allow anything hit into the field.
And that ball's going to be down low, so here we go. He's going to walk, as now we have runners at the corners here.
Again, that very well may have been not a terrible thing that could have happened to the Bobcats and for Roeg here. I mean, you now have an opportunity with a runner at first to potentially get a double play here and get out of this inning without allowing any runs. So maybe the walk wasn't the worst thing that could have happened here for Roeg.
So yes, number 13, Sanchez, is up to bat as Ruocco at third. You have Moeller at first, so we get the first pitch between these two players. Here comes the pitch. And that's going to be a strike. Really nice strike there. Again, down in the dirt. So 1-1. Again, runners at the corners here for Florida Southwestern. PHSC leading 1-0 here. Another ball way low. It's going to be 1-2. Sorry, excuse me, 2-1. Next pitch, and that's going to be directly to second. Now going to go back to third. Excuse me, Ruocco going back to third. At first I thought Might have been a double play opportunity, but I mean, what a shot that ball was. It went straight towards the third baseman, then went to second. So now I think you have the first out of the game here.
Yeah, you grab the second out here in the top half of the sixth. So, I mean, at least now you only have to worry about just getting one more out. And rather than it being a double play, I think you would have liked to have had that double play opportunity if you were able to make it happen. But that was a smart job there by the Bobcats, being attentive of the player runner over at third. That was a good job defensively here by PHSC to try to avoid the runner over at third base.
So right now it's number 30, Fink, the right fielder who's batting right now. That's going to be fouled away. Runners at the corners. Next pitch, and that's going to be a chopped. Thrown to second, and that's going to end the inning, that portion of the inning. What a great play by the Bobcats, as now we are going to head into the bottom of the sixth inning. PHSC going to bat. Coming right up just after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the bottom of the sixth inning. Number 22 for Florida Southwestern, Logan O'Leary, is pitching as number 8. Grant Jordan's going to be up to bat. And again, right now, 1-0. Great defense on the last portion of that previous inning. So they want to make sure that they can sustain this lead, or maybe even add more, obviously, Dylan, to a very defensive front game for the Bobcats.
Yeah, I mean, Logan O'Leary, you want to try and hold the Bobcats here to still give yourself a shot if you're FSW, but obviously the Bobcats just looking to try to continue to add to their lead here. 1-0 score, and it's been so far a strong performance here for PHSC. I mean, it's just haven't been able to connect on opportunities here. Obviously for Logan O'Leary, NJCAA third team All-Academic, FCSAA Academic All-State. Guy who is very smart in the classroom, if you will.
Indeed.
Just looking at his career stats this season, 2.76 ERA, 10 appearances, his 11th this year. So it's been a strong season for O'Leary this year.
So that pitch was a ball, so it's a 1-0 pitch right now. That's going to be down, so it's going to be 2-0. Grant Jordan is up right now. He's the shortstop for the Bobcats team. 2-0 pitch coming underway. There's going to be a strike, so now it's 2-1. The sun is setting down here in Newport Richey. Again, a great day for baseball. 80 degrees was the temperature as that is out in center field. Will that be caught? No, it's going to be a base hit. As number 8, Grant Jordan, hits to first.
That was a great piece of hitting there by Grant Jordan out to center, able to grab the leadoff single, and now that brings up Bryce Sabuda to the dish.
Yes, Bryce Sabuda, second baseman for the Bobcats roster. We have one man aboard here. Got no outs. PHSC hoping to get an opportunity to extend their lead, have some cushion runs, I should say, as we wind down this game. Here comes the pitch. That's going to be a strike. Here comes the next pitch. And that's going to be off, so that's going to be a ball. 1-1. Grant Jordan at first with a single. As we get the next pitch, here we go. And that's going to be hit very hard, but into foul territory. So make that 1-2. So here comes the next pitch. It's going to be a 1-2 pitch. Up high. So make it 2-2. Jordan at first. Habit of batting right now. There is no outs in this portion of the inning. There we go, full count.
Yeah, Buda's trying to look for something here to connect on here with a 3-2 count, nobody out. Chance here for the Bobcats, a big opportunity here to extend their lead. It's 1-0, obviously. Love to be able to add more to that.
And that goes over the head of the second baseman as the runners advance. Oh, they're going to keep on going. Aggressive base running. Will that be in time? It will not be.
That was smart base running there by Jordan. Looks like Parks got jumbled up out there in center field. Just couldn't grab the baseball and get it back into the infield. So Jordan able to take advantage of it, and just like that, now you have runners at second and third, and a chance here for the Bobcats with Anthony Cole to the dish. Chance to potentially extend this lead.
Habita at second, of course, Jordan at third, and Anthony Cole, the designated hitter, right now, going to be batting against O'Leary. First pitch. That's swung on. It's going to be a strike. Here comes the next pitch. That's going to be popped up into foul territory. Will that be caught? It will be. It will be for the out. So now there's actually one out in this game as number 28 of the Bobcats, Nick Cucci, is up, right fielder. Still two men aboard on second and third. Still an opportunity to get some runs here, Dylan.
Yeah, with runners at first or second and third, I mean, this is a great opportunity still for the Bobcats. You have the bottom part of the order here right now up to the plate. Daniel Castillo right now at the dish. Or Nick Cucci, excuse me. Castillo behind him.
Yes.
But nevertheless, I mean, this is still a good opportunity here for PHSC. I mean, you have to take advantage of this and at least be able to drive in those extra runs.
It's going to be thrown to home. And, oh, he dropped the ball. And now he's stuck between home and third. He's going to get picked off. He's going to get picked off. Number 8, Grant Jordan's going to get picked off, but the runners still advance. The runners still advance on that play.
Yeah, fortunately, the runners did actually move up, so you're basically back to a third and second situation. But, yeah, caught up in a jam there with Grant Jordan and just not really able to do much of anything there with Jordan. He had really nowhere to go. So now with 2 outs, an opportunity here for the Bobcats, or for the Buccaneers, excuse me, to potentially get out of this inning here, but Bobcats still would love to be able to add to this lead and try to get this lead back into at least a 2-0 or even a 3-0 ball game. I mean, you just love to be able to not have to worry about potentially allowing a game-tying run. You'd rather be able to allow only a chance to try to, go for the tie.
Absolutely, as Daniel Castillo is up to bat. Third baseman, as there's still 2 men aboard, but there is still 2 outs in this bottom portion of the inning. Here we go. And that's going to be a strike. O'Leary presenting his next pitch. And that's going to be out to left field. Will that be caught? It will be, and that will end the inning. That will end the inning. The 6th is over. It's going to be the top of the 7th coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to Newport Richie, the top of the 7th inning, as the Buccaneers will be going out and swinging their bats. Right now it's 1-0 in the favor of the Bobcats here, as number 7, Orphy, for the Buccaneers will go up against number 25, the pitcher, Jose Rug.
Yeah, Bobcats still trying to keep a hold of their lead here, 1-0 lead, and Robert, these are the pressurous moments here. These last couple of innings, you're kind of towards the tail end of this one here. Hey, we may not even see nightfall here at the ballpark, ironically enough. Only 6:38 here our time. That ball's popped up in the air, and we're in the 7th inning. So, but the Bobcats just looking to try to hold on. This would be a massive win if they could beat a D1 school, a number 7 team in the nation like FSW. This would be a really strong win for the Bobcats here if they're able to find a way to get the job done here from Newport Richie.
Be a really good day for the Bobcats, as that's going to go directly to the pitcher. He's going to get the easy out. That was nice by Rug, and then given to Fano Cruz. So that's the first out up against Orphy.
Great start to the inning there for the Bobcats, grabbing the quick easy out. 1-3 on the ground out there, and this gives an opportunity here for FSW now.
Number 11, Gullamente, the designated hitter, is up to bat against Rug. 1 out in this inning. Here comes the pitch. Strike. And that's going to be another strike. So it's 0-2 right now.
It's a good opportunity here for Rug, excuse me. 0-2, 1 out. Chance to get a second quick easy out here potentially, and again, you just gotta love the way the pitching staff has really just had control over this FSW roster. I mean, they have not allowed a base hit in quite some time, so gotta give credit. What a pitch.
That's going to be a nice pitch and a strikeout there for Rug. The second out, the top of the 7th, as another Buccaneer is up to bat. It's going to be number 4. Number 4, McAloose. Third baseman. Here comes the pitch. Oh, that is way off, and that's going to be a ball. McAloose had to move out of the way for that pitch that was high and to the left. 1-0 pitch. It's going to be 2-0 now. Again, PHSC leading with a 1-0 lead. It's going to be 3-0 now. So 3-0 pitch here, possible walk opportunity for the Buccaneers. And that's going to be a strike, so 3-1. Nice response there.
That's a big comeback pitch there, Robert. I mean, you're down 3-0. You need to get something in the zone there to keep yourself alive on the mound. Chance here to potentially try to drive back. Now 3-2.
So it's going to be a full count here, 3-2. Either it's going to be a ball and a walk, or it's going to be a strikeout here. 3-2 pitch. Oh, and that hit him in the back of the helmet.
Well, I guess no matter what, it would have been a walk.
Indeed. So number 4, McAloose, is going to head to first base after that wild pitch, as number 5, Parks, is going to be up for the Buccaneers.
Good thing is still 2 outs here in this inning, Robert. I think that's kind of a positive.
That's going to be chopped, thrown to second. And that's going to end the inning. A nice connection between the third baseman and second baseman, as now we head to the bottom of the 7th. PHSC batting coming up next.
Yep.
Welcome back, everybody, as we are entering the bottom of the 7th inning. 1-0, PHSC winning right now. And speaking of winning, if you didn't know, in the Division II Sun Lakes Conference, they are indeed number 1 in the conference with a 37-9 overall record and a 22-2 conference record. Dylan, there's other college teams on this on the standings here that might be of interest if they are going to potentially be tournament foes, I should say. So explain a little bit about this Division II conference and where they stand right now.
Yeah. So you have, obviously, the Bobcats, conference champions, technically speaking, as Lyndon Coleman had posted on social media, and also we had posted it out on social, that the Bobcats are the Sun Lakes Conference champions. But not to mention South Florida State College. They are currently in the hunt to potentially being in the tournament here in a few weeks. St. John's River State College, who have won the last 2 years here in the Sun Lakes Conference, they are at play to potentially be in the running to be in the tournament. And Lake Sumter State College, who has yet to make a tournament here in this kind of reformed Sun Lakes Conference, they are in the hunt to potentially be in the tournament. So the Sun Lakes Conference has seen some change. ASA Miami used to be in it. They were a team that was around for a bit. They actually, I remember they beat us in a tournament one year, and that was a massive shock because they were a program that was, a little bit trendy. They were up and they were down in certain seasons. So It's interesting to see, some regular faces, but obviously Lake Sumter State College as well, a chance for them to potentially make it in. They have a Rich Billings at the helm of that squad.
And that's going to be a strikeout, so number 7, Clay Thompson, is out as number 20, Brandon Durfee, is up against O'Leary. Here comes the pitch. That's going to be a ball. Again, right now it's 1-0. Bottom of the 7th inning. 1-0 pitch. That's going to be a strike. Division II versus Division I. One of the very rare matchups that we see inside of a collegiate baseball calendar. That's going to be another strike. 1-2. O'Leary's really getting his groove on here, Dylan. That could be a potential concern for the Bobcats.
Yeah, it can. 0-2 here, 1 out. And that's in the dirt.
Yes, so 2-2 is where we stand right now. 1 out. Durfee batting right now for the Bobcats. Here we go. That's going to be down in the dirt, so it's going to be 3-2 now. Full count. Full count here for O'Leary. And that's going to be hit towards third, thrown to first. That's going to be in time. No, it's going to be safe. A trip up from the first baseman, I believe, Moeller, when he was trying to get that throw from the third baseman, Michalus. And right now, 20, Brandon Durfee is at first as number 5, Fano Cruz, is up to bat.
Yeah, Fano Cruz. Really good opportunity for him here up to the dish to try to get the offensive bats going here in the bottom half of the 7th.
So
like Zach Cole having a conversation with the home plate umpire.
It must be about that play, because at first, from our vantage point, it looked like that Durfee was out, but there was some trip up on the play. So Durfee is at first.
Maybe a interference potentially.
Potentially,
maybe.
Yes. As Fano Cruz is up to bat here. Here comes the first pitch. It's going to be a strike. Down the center. Oh, 0-1 pitch. Pick off. The attempt is no good. Ooh. Trying to advance to second, then realized the pitch was not going his way, tries to go back, almost gets picked out again. Durfee almost out on that attempt, but still on first. Fano Cruz waiting for his next pitch. Here's another pickoff attempt. And that won't be good either. That's, I think, the 3rd straight time a pickoff opportunity. And they haven't cashed it in. Another opportunity again. They're trying to get Durfee out really, really badly here.
Trying to get that second out there, Robert. They're definitely...
And that's going to be swung on and caught. Caught by the first baseman, Mahler.
That's going to be a base hit, actually.
Did it go over?
Yeah, it did.
Wow. From the sun vantage point, I thought that he caught it. But now you have runners at the corners.
Great opportunity here for the Bobcats, Robert. Really big chance here to grab a couple runs, potentially extend this lead here, bottom of the 7th. Obviously, you want to be able to try to close out this game here if you're the Bobcats.
So here comes the pitch, and that's going to be a strike. So you do have Fano Cruz at first, and then Durfee is at third. 0-1 pitch coming up. That's going to be a ball, so it's going to be 1-1. Juan Lopez waiting for his next pitch. That's going to be off, so 2-1. Runners at the corners, familiar situation for PHSC. Seen this several times in the earlier portions of the game. 2-1 pitch. And that hits him. So now the bases are loaded. Juan Lopez will be at first. Fano Cruz at second. And, of course, Brandon Durfee will remain at third as number 8, Grant Jordan, the shortstop, will bat.
It's a big opportunity here, Robert. We've seen this too many times tonight. Two double play opportunity, or two bases loaded opportunities, and then the runners at first and second. 2 of them turn into a double play, the other turn into a triple play. But this is a good opportunity here for the Bobcats. It does seem like the momentum is going to their favor here, and if they can get a base hit here with this bases loaded situation, it'll definitely be a strong opportunity for them to shut the door come the 9th, as there will be a mound visit here.
Yes, with, again, O'Leary is currently pitching. There's going to be some discussion if he's going to remain in the game or they're going to get a new pitcher involved here. A sticky situation for Florida Southwestern.
Yeah, I believe O'Leary is going to stay in the game, at least for the time being, but they do have as you mentioned, they do have a pitcher warming up in the pen, so we'll see if that will end up being a pitching change here forthcoming if some runs do come across to score. Gotta imagine Zach Cole is probably potentially thinking about that here, depending on how this AB goes. Obviously, a double play would be the most ideal if you're FSW, but if you're PHSC, you want to hopefully try to drive something in the gap, maybe drive in all 3 of the runners on base to potentially put you up 4-0.
So here comes the pitch. And that hits him. That hits number 8, Grant Jordan, as 1 run will score because of that. And it's going to be 2-0 for PHSC. Wow.
Well, that works. And it still keeps everything bases loaded. So now you bring in a run. No matter what, you at least now have an extra run come across to score. You now extend your lead. Hey, you'll take it any way you can. I mean, obviously, you would love to be able to have a full at-bat there if you're the Bobcats, but nevertheless, you still get the run to come across and score, and now you're up 2-0.
So Grant and Jordan is going to be at first because of that. Bryce Habada is up to bat right now. Second baseman, as that's going to be hit. Looking back, and that's going to be caught. Run's going to score because of that. And so now it's going to be 3-0 thanks to the help of Fano Cruz running from third to home and a base hit, an RBI by Bryce Habada.
Yeah, another run comes across the score off the sacrifice, and now it's 3-0. And I mean, if you're the Bobcats now, you're feeling good. You go into this final inning and a half potentially. You're up 3-0. You just got to hold FSW for another 6 outs, and you will win this game. So it's going to be an interesting final couple of innings here, but the Bobcats definitely feeling it here offensively, and this will be a solid way to wrap up the night if you're able to close the door here in the next inning and a half.
So number 9, Anthony Cole, the designated hitter, is up to bat. It's going to be a strike. So 1-1 right now. You got runners first and second. 2 outs here. Last out was that sacrifice fly. And that hits him! Oh my goodness. Anthony Cole will go to first. The bases will be loaded again. A hit to the shoulder. It's like deja vu all over again.
Yeah, and you see Lyndon Coleman going out to go check on Anthony Cole. And Cole might have actually hurt his shoulder there. He's shrugging it off a little bit, but we will have a pitching change, it's looking like, as well. So they're going to check on Anthony Cole. Looks like he's okay. He's 6'5". He probably can.
Yeah, he can take it.
He might be able to take that, but nevertheless, it's going to be a pitching change here for the Buccaneers.
And, of course, the
Kung Fu Fighting.
Yes, the dugout. One of the things that they do every time they're kind of on the up and up, they'll have that song out and they'll sing it. They will sing the chorus. In fact, I remember with the Lakehawks game, the opposite team, they wanted an interference because they were so excited. They were so excited about the fully bases loaded situation. I mean, again, they've had great chemistry, obviously, and they are cashing in on this opportunity. Patience at the bat, and then when they need to, they've been able to have those offensive opportunities, whether that's sacrifice flies, the runs to third, stealing bases. It's just been great.
You gotta love college baseball, my friend.
You
gotta
do.
love the culture that is. Nevertheless, we'll take a quick break here as we'll have a pitching change, and we'll take a quick break. And welcome. And we're back. So we got Devilson Reyes on the mound. 1.00 ERA, 9 innings of work through 8 appearances. And Robert, will bring it back over to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So new pitcher after O'Leary, and now we have number 28, Nick Cucci. He is a right fielder for the Bobcats. Here comes the first pitch. That's going to be up high. That's going to be a ball. So, again, 2 men still aboard here. 2 outs. I should say it's actually the bases are fully loaded. Excuse me. Bases fully loaded, 2 outs. 1-0 pitch coming your way. And that is down low, 2-0. Not the start that he needs right now. If you're looking at the Buccaneers here, they're hoping to just get out of this inning as quickly as possible, Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, you're just hoping to be able to try to avoid any more damage. Obviously, bases are loaded. You do have 2 outs, which is a positive, but you are down 3-0.
3-0.
And now it is 3-0. You just don't want to allow any more runs to come across here if you're FSW.
And they're getting more excited. The Bobcats getting more and more excited.
More kung fu fighting.
Yes, more kung fu fighting. As they hear the news, as they see the news, as it is 3-0. Here comes the 3-0 pitch for Cucci, And that's going to be a ball, and 1 run because of that will go in. So now it is 4-0. Number 28, Cucci, will head to first, and the bases are still loaded, Dylan. Wow.
It's wild. None of these runs have came across because of hits. It's all been because of just being patient at the dish and also a sacrifice. So it has been quite an interesting handful of moments here we've had in this bottom of the 7th.
Daryl Castillo is up to pitch here, and again, bases are fully loaded, 2 outs, and now it is 4-0. Responsible for 2 of the runs was due to, again, full count and those balls, and now that's going to be an 0-1 pitch, excuse me. That was a strike straight down the center.
Yeah, Dario Castillo, 297 at the dish, Robert, this season. Would love to be able to...
Ooh, he caught him.
Lucky that he didn't get hit there.
Yeah.
A lot of times players in that instance will they'll actually kind of move in.
They'll try to lean in.
Try to take the hit there.
Almost like a red flag, like soccer,
Yeah. Kind of like a yellow card type situation where you kind of like overplay the injury.
And that's going to be That's going to be a ball. So bases are still fully loaded. We're still in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here comes the pitch against Castillo. So it's going to be 2-2 right now. 2-2 count. And that's going to be a strike. And that's going to end this very dramatic inning, as you can see. So now we head to the top of the 8th inning. Right now, PHSC up 4-0 here in Newport Richey. Welcome back, everyone, to the top of the 8th inning as number 6, Rucco of the Buccaneers, is up to bat against number 25, Jose Rug, the pitcher for this game. Here comes the first pitch. It's going to be a strike.
Yeah, and if you're the Bobcats here, Robert, you're up 4-0. You have a pretty comfortable lead here heading into the 8th. You just got to try to basically keep doing what you're doing, stay consistent, and wrap things up here. All you need is 6 outs, and the game's over. So we'll see how things shape out here if you're the Bobcats.
Really nice strike there. And that's going to be chopped up, but head into foul territory. So protecting on 0-2 here. Here comes the pitch, and that is swung on. Loses the ball. Hit to first in time.
And that was getting a little close there right at the end.
Exactly. Very, very close.
Juan Lopez just able to stay composed, corral it, and get it over to first in time, fortunately enough. And now there's one away.
Since now there's one away, that will lead to the next batter, number 10, Noer, a left fielder for the Buccaneers. Again, one out off of that play from first base as that pitch is down in the dirt. Down low, I should say. It's going to be 1-0. And that is hit high, but into foul territory. Rug has been really composed in these last couple innings, and I think that's because, again, the offensive prowess and the nice pitching. Nice pitching by him, and then as well, of course, the patience at the bat for the offense have led to this really good lead, 4-0, and he's really getting into his rhythm. Next pitch. That's in the dirt. Here comes the next pitch, and that swung straight to first. Give it to the pitcher in time. That'll be the second out.
Great work there by the Bobcats, able to time that up perfectly, and now 2 outs and 4 outs remaining. The Buccaneers are getting down to their final couple of at-bats here in the ball game. And how about the Bobcats tonight, Robert? Again, 6 hits only allowed for a D1 team, an NJCAA D1 team, number 7 in the nation. I mean, I want to talk about a strong performance heading into basically conference play the rest of the way going forward. It has been a really good look so far here for the Bobcats in tonight's ball game.
Great pitching, strong defense as that ball is taking it back. Hits the fence. Great pitching by Rug, and of course the starting pitcher beforehand. And as well, again, great infield defense. That last play, the pitcher able to give it to the first baseman, of course, and it's been great as that pitch is down in the dirt. So here comes the next pitch. Rug against Muller. And that is popped up and headed towards foul territory.
Yeah, no play to be had there. That goes actually right outside the dugout right there. I actually see where the ball is.
Really? Yeah, I see it over there. Just past the right of us. Some encouragement by number 13, Sanchez.
Got to be careful, though. If Zach Campbell was out here, he might be catching these balls.
He might be. Here comes the next pitch. And that is hit out to right field. Will that be caught? It will be caught. It's caught by the right fielder, Nick Cucci. And that's going to end the top of the 8th inning. Now to the bottom of the 8th with PHSC batting. We'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back to the top of the 8th inning. PHSC leading 4-0 as number 7, Clay Thompson, the stolen base king, is up to bat here. Up against number 18, Delvision Reyes. Reyes with his upcoming pitch against Thompson. It's going to be a strike. Next pitch, up high, ball. So 1-1 at this moment against Clay Thompson, the center fielder. It's going to be a strike. So 1-2 here against Clay Thompson. So we're on the bottom of the 8th. That's going to be a ball, so it's going to be 2-2.
Yeah, and if you're the Bobcats, Robert, you're up 4-0. You know, obviously you just want to get good at bats here in the bottom half of the frame. You have a relatively comfortable lead, I would say, with where you're going at here heading into the top of the 9th. So if you're the Bobcats, you just want to try to have good quality ABs, try to maybe get something here in the 9th or in the 8th.
So that's going to give into first, and that's going to be in time. So from the third baseman, that of course being Mick Alous, to first Muller, you're talking about a good 5-3 play to get the first out at the bottom of the 8th. As number 20, Brandon Durfee, is up to bat. That's going to be swung on. Ball goes back. Again, Bobcats leading 4-0 here. Not a lot of home runs or, big base hits. It's just really been some faulty errors by the Buccaneers as that ball is driven down out to right field. Will not be caught. It will be caught for the second out. Be caught by the right fielder, Fink.
Yeah, now you got 1 out remaining here. I think if you're the Bobcats now, again, you still want to have good at-bats, but you're at the point now where, 2 outs. You're going into the 9th. You want to be now. Your focus kind of begins to shift now. All right, how can we close things out here in the top of the 9th inning? I think that's kind of where you're at right now if you're the Bobcats.
Fano Cruz, the first baseman, is up. Has been extremely helpful in a lot of plays, as that's going to be a strike. A lot of interior defensive plays, of course, to either the pitcher, to third base. Been really integral in terms of having great defense and holding on to this lead here. It's going to be 1-1 for Fano Cruz. Here comes the next pitch. And that is hit up high, but that's going to probably be caught. It will be. It will be caught to end the inning. So we head to the top of the 9th with Dylan Spalding going back and doing some play-by-play commentary action. So close. This game is almost over. Bobcats hoping to win this game. Bobcats lead 4-0. We'll be right back.
Alrighty, well, Robert, thank you. Obviously, switching over from play-by-play to color. I tell you what, you did a great job, my friend. Great job, as always, my friend. Excited for the top of the ninth. Bobcats looking to try to grab another win here on will be their 12th straight over the last handful of games, and 19 of their last 20 have been wins. It would be 20 of their last 21 would have been wins if they get the win here tonight. So we are going to the top of the ninth here from Newport Richey, Florida. So great to have you along with us here as we're about to wrap things up here from Newport Richey, Florida, as Rago will, be trying to look to close the door here on the inning, or Rogue, excuse me. We're trying to look to close the door here in the ninth. First pitch called for a ball, 1-0. Up, called for a strike, 1-1. Robert, top of the ninth. Obviously, you're up 4-0 here. I mean, what do you think's going through their mind right now as you kind of think about closing the door here on this ballgame?
Yeah, they just got to be super focused here. Obviously, that coordination in mind.
Oh man,
that was a great play by
Speaking of coordination,
by the. I want to say that was the third baseman.
Dario Castillo,
yeah, Castillo just able to grab that play there. As I said, coordination, every inning they want to have it over if it's the defensive side. You know what I mean? Offense as long as possible. For the defense here, as they're closing out, they have a lead. They just need to sustain it, which, I mean, for the defensive side in this situation is just to keep the lead, make sure they limit any offensive opportunities. So that's exactly what they did with that previous play. It's just making sure everyone's on the same page.
First pitch called for a ball, 1-0. Again, the Bobcats back here on Friday afternoon, I should say, 4 o'clock first pitch. We'll be back here for the game on Friday, broadcasting between St. John's River State and the Bobcats. It should be a good one here on Friday afternoon. St. John's River State, a solid program. Having won the last 2 years the Sun Lakes Conference and getting even deep into the College World Series as well. And that's going to be strike number 2. So 2-2 count here, one away, and a chance for the Bobcats here to grab their second out and potentially have a chance to shut the door on the Buccaneers. That one's hit foul and out of play.
Yeah, he's just trying to really protect right now and just get something here. Obviously, they got to get something here now, or else it's just going to be a really slow and more difficult process to bounce back here. If you're thinking about the Buccaneers and their situation.
And that will be strike number 3. And just like that, 2 away here and a chance for the Bobcats to shut the door here on the number 7 team in the D2 level. The Buccaneers of Florida Southwestern State Buccaneers. And what a win this would be if you're the Bobcats, a number 7 team at the D2 or the D1 level in the NJCAA Region 8 Conference.
It would be a really big piece to talk about, a reflection of their season and what their progress is, and it all amounts to this game and how well they've done on the offensive and defensive side of the ball in terms of, again, what they've done here at this level going against a D1 school. It's very, very impressive if they can hold on to this inning.
2-0. Grounded foul. Yeah, and St. John's River, just looking at what they did last year, they were a team that went all the way to the semifinals in the NJCAA D2 World Series, and that's something that the Bobcats are familiar with, having done that in 2019 and back in 2014 as well. They have not gotten to the championship game, and that is something that very well could happen this year, given how successful the Bobcats have been. That's out in the right field. And that will do it. Bobcats win it here from Newport Richey, Florida, as the Bobcats wrap things up and defeat the Buccaneers tonight from Newport Richey. Final line score, 4 runs on 12 hits, 1 error for the Bobcats, and for the Buccaneers, no runs on 6 hits and 2 errors, as the Bobcats are able to wrap things up here tonight. Robert, what did you see from the Bobcats here tonight that really led to this win? It was a solid performance, a lot of positives, I would say, from this Bobcat squad. You got to give them a lot of credit.
You have to give them a lot of credit. I think it's patience in batting and then strength in pitching. I think that's the best way to describe it. Even through times where there was not really a groove in the early portions of this game, the pitching remained strong and got themselves out of those sticky situations. And then for the batting, I mean, they were able to do it. They were able to get fully loaded bases. They were able to get 2-3 bats and have it out to center field or to the right. They just couldn't really manage to cap it off. But I think with that, it's going to come in time, obviously, and I think they did a really good job making sure they can outdo their opponent here, which is what they need to do in order to show that they are able to do this again in conference and tournament play.
Yeah, and now coming up, you got St. John's River on Friday. Big test for them on Friday, in-conference opponent, and a team that's really one of the stronger teams at the NJCAA level here in Division II. So, what do you think they need to do going into Friday? And it's a Michael Savarese day. We get to finally call a Michael Savarese day, and oh man, we're in for a treat if we get to see what we've seen from him in the past couple of months here in Newport Richey.
I think, Michael Savarese has to start strong. Pitching always needs to be strong first. If they can get that out of the gate, I think offense will come second. And then as well, keep doing what they're doing in terms of those internal infield plays. 5-3, 1-3. Those type of plays have led them to have really easy outs and really good situations for them to be motivated. As you can see with the dugout, they are motivated. They're pumped up. Every time there's something going their way, they use that energy. I mean, I cannot describe to you the energy that they have, and they really need that Friday, and they really need that when it comes to tournament play. So I think it's those things, those metrics, that's going to let them succeed if they can implement it in the next couple days.
Absolutely. Well, Robert, great broadcast as always, my friend. Enjoyed it. We'll be back Friday. Looking forward to it. 4 o'clock, will be the broadcast. We'll have it just a tad bit before 4, as we'll have a little bit of a pregame show. So that's it from Newport Richey. 4-0 Bobcats is your score as the Bobcats wrap things up and defeat the FSW Buccaneers here from Newport Richey. We'll say so long here for now. We'll see you guys Friday for the first game of a 3-game set against the Vikings here in Newport Richey. So long, everybody.